Hey everybody, my name is Nick, and today I'm going to be going into some garden tips. So, yeah, if this is for people who are like, if you're starting your own garden at this time, and like, this is a great time to do this type of activity, like, or project, for most people, because it takes a lot of work, and you got to be ready to be committed to that. But yeah, building a garden during this time is really great because, during COVID, most people aren't going outside. And growing your own food is something that's just really great. Like for the environment, it also saves you money. You don't need to go like shopping for certain vegetables all the time. Like for example, tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, cabbage, anything you grow in here, you just have it and it's really wonderful. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting into the tips. Okay, for tip number one, basically the very first tip you have to have in mind is having friends and family like that you can contact and just to help you with this whole project. I mean, it's possible to do it individually, but like it'll be 10 times easier if you just get other people to help you with it. Like you have to carry tons of bags of soil, tons of bags of fertilizer. Like for example, this one bag of black cow fertilizer is like super heavy, and it'll be helpful when you're trying to carry it to the back if you have a larger garden, or like this is like a medium-sized one, I would say, in your backyard, wherever on the side of your house, like wherever you can have it. Like it's definitely helpful to have friends help you make your garden, get everything set up. And it's a fun experience too, as well. Just to hang out with your friends too and family while doing this. So yeah, and there's a plane passing over, so that's cool too. But so yeah, that's definitely tip number one. Just be able to contact your friends and family and just like have them help you like get this whole garden project done whenever you start it. Okay, now going into tip number two. The next tip is going to be to plan out your budget before you go even to like buy anything for your garden. Like first you want to do your research, look up what type of stuff you need to start a garden. For example, you need soil, you need fertilizer, you're going to need plants, of course. You're going to need these different you don't need the same you see the green sticks you see back there, that's for like vine plants that'll grow up and wrap around that, but like you could get other things, like you could stick like a plank of wood in there or something similar to that in that sense. So yeah, there's just a bunch of different stuff, and we need tools as well. So you want to research what type of stuff you need depending on what you want to do, and you really just want to plan out a budget before you go shopping for all this kind of stuff. Like yeah, it's just a really great idea because you want to just be financially responsible when you're making a garden, because you don't want to overspend, underspend, and you want to know what you're doing. So yeah, that's my tip number two for you guys. All right, so for tip number three, the next thing is to make sure you have space, like plan out the dimensions that you want to have the garden in. For example, you see how we have two like equally sized like rectangles filled with soil and plants, and basically you want to do the same, but like obviously you don't have to copy the same size. You can do any size you want. Just make sure you plan out enough space based on the plant that you're gonna grow, as well as just based on like what space you have in your living area, wherever you are. If you need to do it indoors, if you need to do it outdoors is obviously better, but yeah, it just depends on what type of space you have, depending on your own living space. And yeah, it's really important to plan out the dimensions, have that in mind as well. Just make a note of that going in straight into it. And also, depending on where you live, you may need to request with like the homeowners association, whatever like type of organization that determines like what type of projects you could do, like based on your house or wherever. Like for example, for our garden, we had to contact the homeowners association and request like permission to build it first. So definitely make sure, because you can get in trouble if you do certain things without like authorization. So that's a really important thing to just keep in mind. Not even a tip, it's like you need to make sure you're allowed to do whatever you're doing depending on where you live. So yeah, that's tip number three. Okay guys, so for tip number four, the one thing you have to worry about when you're having a garden, like worry about killing your food or killing your plants, stealing food, like wrecking your garden and everything, is just animals. And the ones that you mainly have to be aware of, well, at least in Florida where I live, raccoons and possums are the two biggest like animals that are just like in the area and always breaking into our garden. Like we see them on the wall, like walking, like on that wall, like just sneaking up, like I don't even know. It's really weird. And also with the possums just coming straight into our garden, stealing food and stuff. And yeah, that is really annoying. So yeah, make sure you research on how you could scare those animals away, because like we have an owl here to try and like scare animals away. I don't really know how effective that is, but it does help with like birds and stuff like coming into your garden. So definitely an owl is helpful, just like a fake one that you have just set up in there. So yeah, that is one good thing you can do. And also one thing about that with possums, make sure you don't capture them alive or anything or release them, because it's against the law. So because they're a protected species, so make sure you don't like capture them or anything. Yeah, that's tip number 4. Right, and for tip number 5, this is the last tip. Make sure you water your plants regularly, like have maybe a timer schedule. It seems like a really basic thing, but honestly people forget, let their plants die a lot. Like there's a lot of irresponsible people out there. There's no problem with that, you just gotta stay on top of it. And also with that, make sure you have your plants in direct sunlight. Like right now it's shaded, but during the day there's a certain amount of time where the plants actually get direct sunlight, and that helps them grow. Make sure you don't have them in an isolated, very shady area. It's kind of bad for like helping them grow, and it's just most optimal to have them in a nice sunny area. So yeah, that's my last tip. Alright, and now we're at the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, if you did enjoy, please hit the like button and subscribe as well, and leave a comment as well on something you liked about it or didn't like, you know. Some people don't like it, so yeah. I hope you guys have a great day, and bye.